All right, hang on. I gotta get my notepad
Yeah,
here.
I gotta
I don't
get my
have.
notepad.
If you want to edit it, you're welcome to.
No, no,
Um,
no. That's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine.
It's that time again. Time for the all new Culture Cast, which begins right now.
Hello and welcome back, everyone, to the all-new Culture Cast. I'm Nick, and with me tonight is
Cousin Charles.
Hey, Cuz. What are we talking about tonight?
Tonight, I have successfully indoctrinated you into my new church, the Church of Morbius. I bless you in the name of the Jared, the Leto, and the Holy Morb.
So you say we're talking about 2022's,
More,
technically 2022's, but it was supposed to come out like 10 years ago
yeah.
before the pandemic hit. Morbius.
This movie only came out less than about 6 months ago, but it feels like it's been with us in our hearts forever.
It really has. I remember when the movie was being advertised. Like it was supposed to come out summer 2020, right?
I think so. What what our internet boxes say?
Because it was a pandemic move, if I'm not mistaken. And I remember looking forward to it at the time, looking forward to it in a way that says like, yeah, I'll check that out when it comes on streaming or whatever. But
Okay, initially July 2020 date. So yes, it's
okay.
been 2 years, and somebody's got to have known that this was a stinker. You do know what date it was released on to the general public, right?
It was Valentine's Day, right?
No, no, no.
Oh, April. It was April 1st.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. I noted that it was April 1st. Um, it's like, yeah, because I think, is this an April Fool's joke? Is it meant to be
might
an
as
April Fool's joke?
it might as well have been. This movie, I remember many years ago, somebody described to me. Apparently, there's a test for Russian film students for editing, where they're given a box of like random film reels and told to edit them together into a cohesive narrative. And this is probably the result of one of those tests, because that is what this movie feels like. It truly is like random scenes put together that they have the mildest of cohesion. Like you and I could have wrote this movie and probably done it a whole lot better.
It is a very generic movie. Um, Having said that, I didn't hate it. I didn't think it was as bad as people were making it out to be. It's not
I'm
good,
no.
but
Far.
like I was expecting it to be like I started like I was planning on spam texting you as I watched it, like how people like tweet watch things. But I kind of gave up about like 20 minutes in, where I'm like, this isn't like, yeah, it's a little weird. That's kind of dumb, but this isn't terrible. Um, I don't. Did you see Venom?
I have not seen any of the Venom movies, so
I
I maybe I'm missing something because some people like them,
I
like
I
unironically.
yeah, I've only seen Venom 1. I haven't seen Venom 2, more Venom. But that it's not good, but it's just kind of fun in a dumb sort of way. Um, I was gonna bring this up later, but I'm gonna bring it up now. What's interesting about Morbius? I wish Gorehound was here because Morbius is one of his favorite comic book characters, and he was going to join us, but then
Oh,
Lamo had a bail on us.
oh,
But
boo.
but what's interesting about these films is that they're made today,
Mhm.
but they feel like they come from the year 2004, 2005 in terms of style and editing and story structure, where the superhero genre was just kind of it was still taking shape. It wasn't
Yeah.
like Spider-Man had hit, X-Men had hit, but like the MCU hasn't become a thing yet.
Right.
So it's kind of like, what are they're just kind of like seeing what works. They're
Mhm.
smaller budgeted. Um, and like, what are they trying to do? And like, this fits. I feel like if you were to if someone was living in a vacuum and you were to show someone the Ben Affleck Daredevil, the Keanu Reeves Constantine movie, um, an Underworld film, which I know is not a comic book, I don't think, but
It's it it wor-
it's that
it works.
yeah, it's that sort of fantasy thing. And this movie and the at least the first Venom, I haven't seen Venom 2, they would probably think, oh yeah, this all came out in the same year.
What's funny though, about most of those movies that you mentioned is that
None of
I'm
them are
pretty
good.
well no well actually I was going to digress. Yes, to that, but also I think there are a very vocal audience who would say, "I prefer the Ben Affleck Daredevil movie," or or what was the other one you mentioned? You said Daredevil, Underworld,
Underworld, Constantine,
Constant, yeah.
which
Uh,
that apparently has developed a cult fan base, which is
that
weird
that
that they're now making a sequel to it.
that's what I'm kind of saying. Like everybody hates it at the time, but give it about 20 years and the kids start watching, they're like, "This is pretty good." So
Like on
someone
the
on the
Star
internet
Wars prequels, everyone loves the Star Wars prequels now for inexplicable reasons.
well, that's because Dave Filoni decided did the most retcon that ever retconned ever. In that man deserves like a Nobel Peace Prize in literature or something for the shit he had to do to get to make this work.
Maybe he'll
But
just reject it like Morbius did.
oh yeah, I was so confused by that because I was like, so because we're just told that he rejected it.
Right? Why did he even go to the ceremony?
Yeah, his professor
Like, dick
father.
move.
Yeah, his professor father presented the award to him, which you gotta admit, there's some weird details that make that I should say don't make sense, but it's like what it's a choice. Like Michael Morbius's family, he has so he seems to be an orphan. At first, they kind of do. I was like, okay, I see what they're doing. Where he's like, oh, your name's Milo, and it's like, no, it's not. It's Lucian or something.
Yeah.
And he's like, and it's like, oh, it's a defense because he's like, oh, that's what happens in the last Milo. It's like, oh, it's a defense mechanism. And then when the kid's dying, he's like, Lucian, come back. But then he still calls him Milo, like 20 plus years later, which
Maybe
makes
it's
no
just like,
sense.
I don't know. Maybe they that's the least of the problems in this
But
movie.
but then they get both of them get adopted by the doctor, I guess. So it's like a weird. I'm your doctor, but I'm now your father, and you two are now brothers. And yeah, shouldn't
Yeah.
Mike Morbius be like a billionaire because he invented synthetic blood? Or
Well, the Milo is apparently a billionaire
yeah,
because he has like he's funding all of Morbius's experiments.
and apparently he's got some. I was rewatching before we went on, just in the background as I was getting ready for tonight's episode and making dinner because I just needed noise. Um, but like I think when we first meet adult Milo, um, like he's got bodyguards who never show up afterwards. They're just in the one scene.
Yeah.
Um,
Who
and
who I love how they refer to Michael Morbius as a cripple when their very own employer is disabled as well. It's like
yeah, and also he's his adoptive brother. So, which you, but yeah, it's like he mentioned he's got like some dealings with like the Russians, which is assuming like the Russian mob. So somehow, you know, just somehow look, I don't want to get canceled. It's the internet, but somehow Milo, mangled Milo, malignant Milo, somehow has dealings with the Russian mafia or like shady Russian businessmen and has to hire bodyguards. Like it's
Was
never
that
played
was
one.
that was that it? Was that the
That's what I took. He said he said somehow he had some weird thing going on with Russians or something like that. Because I don't know what he did for money or how he got as well. It's not like, oh,
I guess
like
I thought he was like inherited, like his, I don't know.
sure. So he has money just cause. Um, the doctor set it up for it. Not referring to the well, what's we the one other thing I wanted to bring up in this the weird the weirdness of this movie is Matt Smith and I think I had to look him up, but Jared Harris, who plays like the father doctor.
Right.
Like they've been in really good projects. Like I know that guy's popped up in a lot of like he was in Chernobyl. He's been in a lot of like he's like a good character actor. And Matt Smith is apparently killing it in the Game of Thrones prequel.
Right. And he was
And
also in The Crown.
he's also in The Crown. He was also the Doctor from Doctor Who for
That's
many
nothing
many.
to be proud of.
I would say it's something to be proud of. That's like
I,
that's before the show really hit
I'm mocking
the set.
Doctor Who. I'm mocking Doctor Who.
Look, I'm just gonna say this. I went
Doctor
to
Who's the fucking worst. Come at me, internet. Come at me.
if you said that circa 2010, 2012, Charles, I would have come at you like a spider monkey. 2022, Charles, he's a little bit more mellowed out. He, he's into Morbius now.
We've
Uh,
evolved to Morbius.
yeah. I kind of do wish the Gorehound was here because I didn't realize Morbius was his favorite character because
Well, at
I
least
know
one of them. I know he's a big Morbius fan because he's a vampire and all of that.
right.
So
But I wish he was here so I could shit on Morbius right to his face because I know nothing about this character. I remember seeing him in like I knew he was a Spider-Man character. I know he's a vampire made via science, and that's about it. And the movie doesn't really add much to who Michael Morbius is because it's just him going from scene to scene, trying to cure slash kill himself for most
for
of the
the
movie.
mysterious blood disorder that is very vague on what it does.
Yeah, and the ticking clock seems to change because he doesn't solve that by the end of the film. He doesn't figure
No,
out. No, he stops Milo and then decides I'm a vampire now. And flies off to the night.
I will say like the ending was so abrupt. It was just kind of like that's the end. I'm like, oh, so what was the point of the FBI agents existing in this movie?
I
Because like they were like, we gotta find it. There's not even like a showdown. They have like one scene together, and
yeah.
that was it.
Yeah, like it's. I love the setup. I think the script wanted to like have like we want to have like The Rock and a Kevin Hart dynamic. Well, we can't afford The Rock or Kevin Hart, so we'll get one of the weaker actors from the Fast and Furious movies, and then we'll get like a third rate correspondent from The Daily Show.
Is that who he was? I couldn't figure
Yeah,
out where I knew him from.
yeah, he was on The Daily Show for like a couple of years. I feel like he did some pretty good bits, but it's typical. I remember when I watched the movie, I was like, I started groaning whenever he started talking because it's like, oh god, they hired a comedian, but they didn't write jokes. They just said, "You're funny, say funny things." That it's like that's like I love improv. And I think we have really funny people in like a really funny situation. Like here's your prompt. Like I was rewatching a clip from like Talladega Nights, and you have it was like the scene where like Ricky Bobby thinks he's paralyzed, but it's all in his head, and Michael Clark Duncan, John C. Riley are like berating him, and he's like, "Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby?" And then they stab him in the leg to try to get the knife out with another knife. That's funny. That's funny, but you can tell like the stuff that they're saying is just them riffing off each other a little bit because they're you can kind of catch them sort of break like cracking a smile because they're trying not to laugh on camera. But like most that type of comedy where it's just like you're a funny person, say funny things, is just stupid and not funny at all. Apparently, the FBI also doesn't give a fuck about murder because they they establish these guns for hire, these sea mercenaries. Do you want to explain to the audience the setup for?
So, for whatever reason, Morbius needs to do his experiments in international waters because it's so illegal he can get in some big trouble.
Can't prosecute.
And so they go to international waters and they get these hired mercenaries to take him there.
Mhm.
And when he transforms, he has bloodlust and kills all the mercenaries. And so the ship comes ashore, and the FBI is like, "This is weird. We should investigate it." And then as the movie progresses, the FBI does approach Morbius because someone else died in the building that he was in that we think Morbius did, but in less than 30 seconds revealed it was Doctor Who that did it.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Hey, Dr. Morbius, normally we wouldn't care about a bunch of these people dying. Like basically the guns were high. We don't care about them, but you killed an innocent person. That's what we care about." Honestly, I can see the FBI doing that. They wouldn't give a shit about like a bunch of like hired guns in international waters. Probably like, whoever did us a favor. We'll investigate it, but we won't really do much.
But here's the thing, like again, like for me the script fall like there's bare minimum, like that's the shit that you and I come up with, like, oh, this would be a good movie idea.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't be interesting, but it'd be bare minimum. And Morbius just falls under here, like quite under it, because it's like, and no, like if I was writing the movie, I'd make these mercenaries real bad dudes. Like I would show them like they take over, like right as Michael's about to do the experiment, they're pirates and they take over the ship. They kill the crew because they're going to hold Michael Morbius for ransom or something like that. It was set up by Milo. Again, you can come up with a million reasons, but you show that the mercenaries are real bad dudes. The only thing we've seen them do up to that point is one of them goes down the lab, is kind of a pig to the to Lady Doctor, who I don't know, I don't remember her name. He gets, like, they go in. Michael Morbius is like again doing some freaky shit, like just hanging on the roof, and the guy does like, "Where'd he go?" It doesn't look up, even though, and then he gets got, and then the other guys just show up. They've just been playing cards and drinking beer. They've been doing nothing wrong. Like I'm not saying like, look, we need to get we need to care about the mercenaries, but it's like you gotta give us a reason to like not feel bad. It's just like, yeah, they're just, I mean, they're hired guns, but you also hired them to do science stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that'd be like the
Mm-hmm.
bare minimum. You make the mercenaries real bad dudes. Like, we're we're going to steal your shit, Morbius, if you don't give us all the Morbin fluid.
Yeah, they don't. I mean, they're probably bad guys. That are like, they look rough and mean and everything, but like they don't go into establishments about like
Well,
why they're so bad. But again, this is exactly a thing that was common on like mid-range budget action adventure,
fantasy.
science fantasy, whatever you want to kind of call it, that in between genre, from circa 2003 to 2006. I mean, it you would get like half-baked plots for for the kind of fumble their way through.
Whenever it was the years whenever the song Evidence Wake Me Up was like really popular, that's when those movies fucking thrived.
Yeah, exactly. Um.
For all you kids who don't
Yeah.
know what that is, it's the wake me up inside, can't wake up. Don't, you know, I mean,
Yeah.
we're not gonna
I
get
know.
we're not gonna get
I know
copyrighted, right?
exactly what you're talking about, and you're right. Um. I mean, they should start a meme. this movie, but it came out in 2003, and that would be the song.
God, we're evolving the meme. It's evolving, but backwards. Uh,
Like I really did fall down a rabbit hole one night watching all of those. And if I had like editing equipment on my computer, I would totally make so many.
you know, in probably like a few years, people are going to look back at the first Transformers movie and be like, "This was a secret masterpiece, a deconstruction of the American imperial movement, or some shit like that."
I actually kind of like that first Transformers movie. It's not great, but like it's entertaining enough.
Yeah, no, I've seen it enough times where we're like, you know, that's a good solid movie. You know, let's go watch that after this.
It takes like the Transformers like an hour to actually appear in their own movie, though. It's like, oh my god, where are the Transformers in this Transformer movie? Oh, there they are, an hour in. Luckily, we have 4 more hours of this movie, so we're good.
Hey, credit where credit's due. They, you know, back in 2007, someone's like, okay, I need you to make me a Transformers movie, but frame it like an alien invasion movie. And you know what? Somebody did their job and did it well. I will give them that. But yeah, let's get back to Morbin time.
Morbin time.
Okay? Let's just call. I'm gonna be a Nostradamus because they're going to make a sequel to this.
Are they though? I'm having trouble pulling up Wikipedia, so I can't. I can't check what its box office was.
Nick, you saw the post-credit scene. They're clearly setting up something. I don't know what.
Let's jump ahead to that post-credit scene, by the way.
The laziest post-credit scene I've ever seen. Like, I was shocked at what the fuck they did.
Well, for starters, they spoiled it in the trailer 2 years ago.
Yes.
And so, okay. So a couple of things. We'll circle back to this. So this is what I've been reading about Morbius, that this film had significant reshoots and rewrites after production originally wrapped up.
This is the best they could come up with. Oh my god.
And supposedly, this movie was supposed to be tangentially in the MCU.
Okay.
But and Michael Keaton's character was supposed to be the actual character.
Right.
No shifting universes. But when they were making No Way Home, Spider-Man No Way Home, they realized, nah, Morbius doesn't work in our world, so we're going to redo some things. Like definitively placing all the Sony movies in their own pocket universe.
Right.
So supposedly when they had Michael Keaton come back, I don't know where along the pipeline this was, but when they either shot or reshot some of Michael Keaton's cameo scenes, that's when they ported him in from the other universe.
Right.
I don't know how. I haven't seen No Way Home yet, so I don't know if they explain how people came from universe to another, or why Michael Keaton would go to the other one. Doesn't matter.
He's like more frustrated when you know how that whole stuff works.
He looks unfazed that he just went to a whole nother universe. The people are like, we don't know this guy, so we're going to let him out of jail, and it'll be fine. It's like, this dude has like no money, no identity in this world, and then he mysteriously gets his vulture gear back,
so which
he could not have gotten because that was in the other universe, which he plundered from an alien invasion that apparently didn't happen in this world.
Well, on top of that, he didn't build the vulture suit. He had the one guy who's basically like the version of the Tinkerer.
Yeah.
Who put that shit together with like basically in a box of scraps.
That's so right.
Somehow. Yeah.
So there's that. I forgot about that part. And then there was another scene in the trailer. There's a scene where Michael Keaton talked to Michael Morbius saying like, "Hey Doc, I've been hearing a lot about you," and which again could have been a different take, but it's implied that their interaction was different in the movie.
Right. Well, and
Um,
going back to, and actually, Gary, I'm going to cut you off really fast.
yeah, that's fine.
Going back to that trailer, because a lot of people were speculating, because there was a shot where like Michael Morbius is like, he's still in his jumpsuit, he's trying to hide, and there's in the wall, there's like, this is what got people excited, because it was like Spider-Man murderer, but then it's like the Sam Raimi Spider-Man. So it's like, what is this taking place in the Raimi verse? If we're going to see older Tobey Maguire, is it the MCU? Because Peter Parker considered a murderer, which yeah, but nope, just for the trailer or
and yeah, and apparently the director had no idea that Sony did that. And it wasn't in the final movie, like you were saying. Yeah. So it's so weird. And then when they got to the scene, I have so many questions. One, the Vulture's in the Sony universe. Okay. Right. One, why would he contact Michael Morbius, someone he has no idea who that is? Two, how would he contact him? Because Morbius is like on the what do you call it?
On the lam?
On the lam. Three, how did Michael Morbius get that nice car that he's like driving to meet him in the middle of the desert? And then what's hilarious is you could tell like Michael Keaton, if that was Michael Keaton, because it sounded off, that end exchange, it's like they said, all right, Jared Leto, say these two things. I'm listening. I'm intrigued, or whatever the lines were.
Yeah.
And we'll just figure out what Michael Keaton says later on. Because what Michael Keaton says, it'd be good for a bunch of guys like us to get together. Because of Spider-Man. Does Spider-Man now exist in this world?
Like, who the fuck are you talking about? Because he says, I don't know how I got here. I think it's because of Spider-Man. It's like,
yeah. Like, how would he even think that's because of Spider-Man?
I mean, think about it. You got Kid from Queens. I mean, his biggest gripe was less with Spider-Man. It was more with Tony Stark, because like Tony essentially screwed him out of the job.
Right.
You got Asgardian magic, wizards. There's a whole bunch of shit in the MCU that could have caused your magical predicament.
And assuming he is from the MCU, he also experienced, the snap where half of the galaxy just got wiped out and came back. But no, I moved to another world. Clearly, it's up with Spider-Man. Why would he think that?
Because Nick, Vulture's a Spider-Man villain, and his entire world revolves around Spider-Man. Like, I know you haven't seen. I guess I don't think it's a spoiler. I think, but like, yeah, his inclusion in Morbius and not in No Way Home is probably one of the biggest fucking crimes of that movie. Because
well, I could see why he wouldn't be in No Way Home, just because it was about the other villains coming into the MCU world.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they break up, because like the whole. I haven't seen it, but I've read enough about it. Like Peter Parker's like, I gotta fix them and send them back to their own world so they can die.
What? Well, so you change their fate.
Which then begs the question: does that change the old movies then?
Look, to quote the Doctor, wibbly wobbly, timey wimey stuff.
It's not even time travel. It's universe hopping. It makes no sense.
No, well, here's what.
This is why the MCU is failing. This is why it's failing. Also because She-Hulk twerks.
Yeah. This is the death of the MCU.
MCU. Oh God, I want to bang my head against the wall when I hear that. Yeah, there's like one or two extra female characters in the MCU now. How many male-focused characters are still in this?
Not enough, Nick. Not enough.
Like all the movies except one were pretty much male-dominated. Black Widow being like the sole exception.
And Captain Marvel. You forgot. Everybody forgot.
But Captain Marvel was the previous. I'm talking about from this wave. The phase 4.
Oh yeah. And trust me, I saw that. Actually, I saw that not only in theaters. I made a special journey to see that in a drive-in out in
Black
Moberly, Missouri.
Black Widow.
Black Widow, yes. Um, which it wasn't until much later the internet pointed out how bad that CGI was on the Soviet helicarrier. Like, oh god, we truly are in a VFX crisis. Like, although with the power of movie magic, it's like Michael Keaton wasn't actually there on set in that last post-credit scene.
Cause
He just
yeah, because he was wearing a. I mean, it seems like that was cobbled together from a bunch of different scenes. That second scene in the post credits, and
maybe Michael Keaton's on Cameo and they just got Cameo to
it sound again. It almost doesn't sound like him. And I don't know if they're trying to like do a voice changer sort of thing because he's in the helmet, um, or if he just wasn't there, or he just like literally phoned it in.
no. Nick, we're in the future of Hollywood now. We can recreate dead actors using AI. Mark Hamill isn't even dead, and they brought him back already. That's what, I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised if that news came out that they used AI to create Michael Keaton's voice for that last post-credit sequence because it's shockingly bad. Which, okay, I get it. I'm a Sony executive. I'm in charge of the movies. I've got rights to one of the most popular Spider-Man characters, and I'm losing control of Spider-Man. So I got everything else around. Why? And the Venom movies somehow work enough to at least give you a sequel.
I
Why would you include why would you tie that if you're going to do a post-credit scene? Like why wouldn't you have like Eddie Brock show up? I mean, he's already done that once. His first post-credit scene was him meeting Cletus Cassidy. I saw that online.
yeah.
Wouldn't it
I
make more sense he's tracking superpowered serial killers, which is basically what Michael Morbius is?
or so they think he is.
Exactly.
Um, it could be. I mean, that would make more sense. But here's the thing. Amy Pascal is like, I want that MCU money, so I'm going to leech off the MCU as much as I can. And Kevin Feige's like, fine. Listen, we have zero plans to bring back Vulture, so have at it.
Yeah, here you go.
Michael,
do you want to check?
Sure.
I can't do my Michael Keaton impression. It's a little like this.
Like he's too busy wondering. Hey, Michael Keaton's just probably just happy that another one of his movies didn't get canceled or is in perpetual limbo.
There you go. He's fine.
Yeah, I'm sure he doesn't give a shit, but it's kind of funny. Everyone's like, Michael Keaton's back as Batman. One movie canceled. Another movie. The main actor is a sexual predator, perhaps. Is a what is he now? I don't even. What is
they?
What are they right now?
They are a menace to society. That's what they are. Because holy shit, like this is why you have an agent or like a Hollywood fixer. Like, oh my god. I will say this. I don't know if we talked about it during how we save the DC Comics universe, but yeah, get Ezra Miller some help. That should probably be one of their steps. Get them some help.
But yeah, I don't know. I was. Here's another thing. What makes Venom better than Morbius, even though the quality in the movies are about the same. Venom's like a popular character.
Yeah.
And Morbius is like, who the fuck is that?
Yes, I will agree to that.
Not that you can't have like an original idea work, and I use originals in quotes because it's a comic book character, but nothing just seemed appealing about the movie. And I think there's a Jared Leto burnout happening with audiences. That's probably key as well. But
I will say this: like, if you're going, okay, you've got access to all these Spider-Man characters, rewriting them as solo like comic book movies, not shared or anything like that. could work. I mean, you go back to the
Yes.
first. You go back. Always go back to Blake, and like you're gonna watch that movie. It's like it creates its own lore, its own world. You forget that. Oh yeah, this is tied to Marvel Comics because it's like doing its own thing. They easily could have done that with this because it's like, hey, it's a man fighting the urge to become a monster. That's a relatable enough story. There's a lot of films that do shit like that.
Yeah. Or
How
or or along those lines, or play up the vampire aspect because people love vampires.
yeah. They missed Twilight by like even going back to 2020. They missed that by like 10 years. So
Yeah, but there's always vampire stuff coming out. So I
yeah,
think, this movie, I pulled it up. They had a max budget of approximately 83 million, which is pretty cheap. Um, this should have been a film that came out. This was not a summer. Granted, we're in COVID times still a little bit, so it's a little bit different.
yeah,
Um, this movie originally was planned for a summer release. This is a film you put out in like September, October, or February. It's not a dumping ground movie, but it's one of those months where people are kind of like, I want to see a fun movie.
yeah.
Like people who are like, I'm anxious for summer movies. This will satisfy me until then. Or with the February March release. Oh, this was released April 1st, so there's that.
Yeah.
Um,
Which
but
I still contend is probably someone was like, fuck it, we're releasing it on April Fool's Day. We're doing it, people. This is a turkey, and we're going to release it as a turkey. Nice.
um, or it's a movie because it's not as like budgeted as like an Avengers summer blockbuster. You release in September, October, where things are like quieted down. You haven't gotten to the winter blockbusters yet, and this fits right in there. Um, I don't know what Sony was expecting from this movie when the original date was a July. It would have gotten clobbered worse than it did now.
Oh God, yeah, because it would
The
have been.
film, yeah, the film made 164 million dollars, so it doubled its budget. But in Hollywood terms, that's not good enough
No,
because that the budget didn't include that I'm repeating here. Of course, doesn't include marketing because you never know how much they spend on that. So
that's
the movie
those. Yeah. No, go
it
ahead.
needs like 3 times its budget to really
Yes.
break even,
It can't just
and it
make
didn't
a
do
good
that.
amount of money. It needs to make all the money.
Well, not even like this is a lower budgeted film.
Yeah.
It needed to make a good 300 mil at the box
Okay.
office, and which is still an insane amount of money, but um yeah. So
Uh, did you ever look? Did you ever look up how much Morbius made during its second release run? Where like
no, but I heard it was like nothing.
I think it's like $80,000. Like it was like that. It was like I think it was like a change.org petition or something like that. Like release Morbius back into theaters, and they did it, and nobody showed up. And then of course change.org said release Morbius for a third time. We were all busy that weekend. We swear we'll show up this time.
um I like how Sony released that in response to like all the memes, thinking, "Yeah, we have a hit on our hands." Nope, you took away the wrong message.
No, you guys released a turkey. You released something that I will say I'll give it credit. So the last two Marvel movies that I saw like in theaters, so it was the Doctor Strange movie and oh god, what was the other one? What was the last one I saw?
Was it Thor: Love and Goats?
Oh yeah. Well, I didn't see that in theaters. I actually watched that at home from the comfort of my own couch.
Disney
But
Plus.
yeah, that's streaming wars, baby. But I will say this: I was much more entertained by Morbius than I was by either one of those two movies. So take that for what you will. Morbius is a more entertaining movie than the last two MCU releases. So
I haven't seen Doctor Strange. I did see Thor, which I liked. Um,
I like okay. I bet Thor, even Thor is like again. I appreciate movies that are kind of messes, because I'm like, I could see what they were trying to go for, and I wish they did things differently. But I still was more entertained by Jared Leto sucking down those bags of white goo. Like the most. I'm sorry, you got a vampire movie, and this is where like Blade was smart. They were like, hey, we got a vampire movie. What do vampires like? Blood. You know what this is going to be? Rated R. There's going to be blood everywhere. There's going to be a blood rave in our first opening 5 minutes of Blade. This movie, I think Morbius would have done better if they just were like, screw it, we're going hard R. We're going hard R. Jared Leto's going to be ripping out dudes' throats. He's going to be biting into those bags of blood, and there's going to be blood everywhere. I think this movie would have been I think it would have improved the quality of the movie like 1,000 times over if it was just like leading into that gory vampire stuff. And also maybe don't have weird CGI makeup effects where it's like a Snapchat filter because it just comes and goes as it pleases.
Do you think, going back to, I was reading something here, or I had read something, that there's apparently an interest to have a crossover with Morbius and Blade, specifically the Blade played by Marshala Ali. Did I say that right?
You said that right. Mahershala, I think.
Mahershala, yes, that's
Mahershala.
it. Specifically his version at some point in the future, if his version ever gets off the ground. Because that thing's in a tailspin at the moment. I don't know how that would work since everyone's in a different universe, but I'm wondering here. We didn't talk about this yet.
Okay.
Maybe we should in the future, but they announced the next slate of Marvel movies and the next end game, so to speak, no pun intended, of where the current movies are going to, which I feel is happening very fast since it took like 10 years for the Thanos saga or the Infinity Saga.
Yeah.
And this one's like half that time. But
it's like,
I guess,
what is it, like 5 years? Like it's within like the next 3 or 4 years. Like it's not very long.
It's like 2025, I think, is when it's, I don't know. It's weird.
That's 3 years away. It took 3 years between Avengers 1 and Avengers 2. And you're cramming in 2 whole phases. Like, what? The only thing, the mob money. Like, what's Kevin? Blink twice if you're in trouble.
The only thing I can think of is like Marvel's releasing a lot more projects more quickly now than they did back then. I'm not going to count to see how many films and everything they're going to have by the time they hit Secret Wars. But anyway, point I'm trying to make, I wonder if Secret Wars is going to be a case of anyone who's ever appeared in a Marvel project ever pops up. So like when you had like the Portal scene and Endgame, where you had all the MCU characters. Now this one you have all the Spider-Men, all the X-Men, all the like Morbius and Venom, and Lou Ferrigno shows up, and
Michael Chiklis is the thing, and he put him in that full makeup.
Exactly.
No one else is in makeup, just Michael Chiklis is in that full rubber suit makeup.
Which I always thought looked kind of good. It's been years since I've seen that movie, so maybe
I remember liking those movies a lot as a kid, but
and Chris Evans will inexplicably appear as Johnny Storm, but I wonder if that's going to be the big end, and all these universes somewhat get merged together, but not really.
Massive
that
whole recasting of everything.
Well, not necessarily a whole recast, but then like the Sonyverse will officially be in the MCU. And so like Tom Hardy's Venom can now interact with like Benedict Cumberbatch's Doctor Strange, and no one will be like, how did that happen? And I'm wondering if they want this in the MCU and a Blade team up will happen after that. I'm really speculating here. Like they'll do their Crisis on Infinite Earth, so to speak.
Damn it! I was gonna make a joke about that. I was like, Nick, you're talking about some sort of crisis across Infinite Earths. I was trying to wait for my moment. Damn.
I stole that moment from you.
uh,
My
it's
goal in
fine.
life.
I mean,
So
I will say after Crisis on Infinite Earths, the whole Arrowverse kind of, which honestly that was like the peak. It's like, okay, cool, Supergirl and the Flash, and Marv Wolfman's there to like cheer him on. Is that who that was?
yeah, Marv Wolfman. Yeah. Yeah, the Arrowverse died. We need to do at some point a podcast like Arrowverse in memory
In memoriam.
episode in memoriam. But uh I wonder. I don't. I'm just openly speculating. I don't know. This film, like they announced the Venom 3. They announced the Sony animated Spider-Man movies. They've not announced a Morbius sequel. I don't think. God bless Sony for what they're trying to do, and I'm intrigued at what they're trying to do. But man, oh man, nothing's working for them.
Oh,
Venom. Did Venom 2 do well in the? It must have to get a threequel. I know
it's
Craven the Hunter's coming out very soon.
yeah. I don't. How's that going? How's Craven the Hunter going to work? Because like, what do you
His whole
do?
shtick is I hunt Spider-Man.
Right. But or I guess you could. Here's the thing. Like you could.
Craven's not an anti-hero, I don't think, the way Morbius is.
I think
Is
there's
he?
been some stories that made Craven an anti-hero. I feel like there have been. I can't say that for a fact, but it's like okay, Craven as like a villain for like Venom or Morbius. It would make total sense.
Hmm.
Superpowered beings, I want to challenge myself. That's fine. But then Craven as like his own individual. Who does he fight? Who's he who do you go up
Yeah,
against?
that's my question. Like what would they I don't that's an excellent question.
Yeah,
Um
oh, actually, let pause really fast because I do want to keep going on this, but just to answer everyone's question that they're all dying to hear.
yeah.
Uh, which, by the way, oh my god, I didn't notice this.
What's that?
So the biggest complaint with the MCU movies is like, man, we're no longer getting our 2.5 hour epics. Uh, Venom 2 is 97 minutes long.
Short ass movie.
Yeah, short ass movie. Here it is. Budget 110 million. Do you want to guess how much it made at the box office? How much bacon it brought home?
I'm going to say 300 mil.
Higher.
Okay. Um well, Venom's 800?
You're shooting too high for the moon. Do you want me to tell you?
Yeah.
$507 million. So like half a billion. You know, that's
Was that US or worldwide?
it just says box office. So I assume that's combined. I can look to see if they have like a.
I just pulled it up on Wikipedia, and this says 856 million box office.
I'm on Wikipedia. Where are you seeing that at?
Are we talking about Venom 1 or 2?
Oh, I'm talking about Venom 2.
Oh, I'm talking about Venom 1.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Okay. Well then maybe. Well, I guess it did enough.
I
Again,
mean,
Hollywood.
still 500 having been released in 2021 and making
Mhm.
507 million. That's really good.
Yeah, it's weird what Hollywood considers a success anymore, and the well, because again, here's the question: would Morbius be called a success? I mean, the biggest failure of a film is if people forget about it. There's like half a dozen Mark Wahlberg movies that nobody's ever going to watch because they're all forgettable. But I'm going to remember Morbius. I am going to remember a shirtless Matt Smith. God, what?
That's how I get ready every day.
Because
I'm gonna make that my wake up ringtone.
please do. Like, I think like that is probably the single greatest sequence in film history because I think it went from like a very I again right before I went on, I ended my watch of Morbius right at that scene because I was like, I gotta at least see that weird ass dance sequence. And it was like really quiet. Then it goes, have sex, have sex. It's like, look, I'm just saying this. Like Matt Smith, I liked him as the Doctor. As I said before, I heard he's doing great on the Game of Thrones thing. Look, let's not try to make Matt Smith a sex symbol. I'm sorry. Weird. He's weird. He's lanky, and like I don't care
He's
how much
he's a
how
weird
many
looking
push.
dude.
Yeah, he's a
He,
weird looking
he he
dude
he simultaneously looks like he's 20 and 75. I don't know how that's possible.
because he's a. I was about to say Targaryen, but that's not right. He's from Gallifrey. There we go. Ah, see, got my nerd references right.
I don't know what that means. Is it a Doctor Who thing?
That's the alien species that the Doctor's a part of. You
Oh,
normie.
well, let me tell you something. Nobody cares.
You know, actually, fun fact. Mainly because my mind is filled with these fun facts. There was a comic.
This will neither be fun nor a fact, but carry
This
on.
will. I don't know if this will piss you off or not because you're a Trekkie, right? You like the Star
I
Treks.
do like the Star Treks.
Uh, Matt Smith's Doctor Who did once cross over with the cast of TNG
In a comic book, yeah, I
in a
know.
comic book.
Where
Yep, the Borg and the Cybermen. They joined up. Matt Smith, Doctor, and Jean Luc had to stop him.
it's they have to please something. Like they gotta please like the nerds at home. I mean, they're not getting dates, so they're like Captain Kirk and Doctor Who. Oh my god! Oh my god!
I think Star Trek's crossed over like pretty much everything. There's a Green Lantern
You know,
crossover, Planet
I,
of the Apes.
IDW were doing their comics at the time, and IDW is notorious for crossing over all of their properties. There was like they had a crossover thing where the Ghostbusters met the Transformers and met the X Files and met like met I think the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. Like it was like what is happening right now?
So is IDW just filled with 12-year-old boys from 1982 just going, you know, it'd be awesome if these characters met each other and it would be really cool.
Probably. I mean, if they did it like for like a one-off, like oh okay, that's fun. But like it seemed like for a while that they did it all the time. But now IDW's like lost all of its properties, so who God knows what's happening. I think they still have the Ninja Turtles, but they lost everything else.
Well, right now they're going through their offices, ripping out the copper wire. Um, okay. So I apologize for that tangent, but yeah, no, creepy, not creepy, but just like very off-putting, and like, and again, they also have the weird Snapchat. It really does look like a Snapchat filter face. You know what I mean? Like when you have like the dog ears on, you get push the camera too far away and it disappears, and then it reappears.
Yeah.
Like I will say this, I'll try to give credit where credit's due for Morbius because there are some things I did enjoy. That first kind of look at him, like when he's on the boat, I was like, hey, that looks pretty good. You know, he's got kind of like the upturned nose and stuff like that, but then that look is just so inconsistent of he just like there's no like distinct line like oh I'm a monster now versus I'm regular Morbius or I'm Morbius man. Like it just seems to shift in and out. It doesn't seem like I hate to say this, but like monster transformations in general, and this is just I don't know if this is like a written rule anywhere, but I feel like they should be painful in some way. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Like not like it doesn't need to be like BDSM body horror, but it needs to be like
It looks like
slightly
they're not
uncomfortable.
having a great time about it.
Right? It's
Yeah,
got
I
to be
see what
like
you're saying. You know what? I'm going to be uh counterpoint. I kind of liked how it like just slipped in and out. I see what you're saying, and I don't know how it is in the comics. But I did. I don't know. I that effect how it just kind of like would zip in, zip out. I didn't mind that. I didn't mind the effects in this movie, like the whole like bat sonar thing, or when they would like fly and have like that gray smoke around. I thought that looked cool.
oh, you still there? Did Morbius
I'm here.
take you?
I've not been morbed.
Oh, thank goodness. Thank Morb. Um, yeah, I didn't get what the smoke was. The smoke effect supposed to be like they're moving so fast that that's the wind current,
Sure.
or
I just
yeah,
think there was. I think it was a case of the rule of cool.
yeah. Like because it was very much like I was like, what is the smoke effect? Is it? It was very. It just I don't know. I'm going to disagree with you.
Well,
weren't
you're
terrible, but look, they weren't like Asylum. It wasn't like an Asylum production or anything like that. But it also wasn't like it was very inconsistent. Because I was like, what are the effects supposed to be? Like, what are we trying to portray? Because like he's more he's he's got the monster face, and then he doesn't have the monster face, and like it's very kind of like, I don't know. I wish there was a little bit more consistency for me at least, but because it's very much like you can't tell like the bat sonar thing is cool, but it's also just like, again, I wish this was in a better movie. Like that's kind. I mean, that's always a fun visual of like, seeing everything but through sound. You know, not
mm.
too dissimilar to like, some sort of Daredevil. But um, but yeah, no, well, it was weird. He like had just like he had like a voiceover explaining how all of his powers worked. It's like, oh shit, we forgot to explain how the powers work. Voiceover, and here's some footage of him doing some stuff in his. Oh, we forgot to mention this. His lab apartment, because it's like he's got a lab, blood room, and then a lounge area in like this very much professional office building.
Yeah, that's like the office building when you're in the hallway. The office building is so weird because the lobby area looks very nice and modern. The hallways look like Murderville. Um, and then like the labs are like these elaborate things. Like who designed this building?
I know they'll maybe they'll show this in Morbius too, more Morbin. But I want to see when Michael Morbius moves in day one, and they're like, "You want us to install a what again? A giant container tube that I can secretly reveal full of bats, like as
Yeah,
if they're
okay.
fish." Like, I'm no
Let's talk about that for a second. So Michael Morbius captures all these bats somehow,
in a
and he brings them
cave
back
in
to the
South America or
yeah.
somewhere.
And he's able to somehow bring them back to America and bring them to this place that he works at. Um, with no one noticing.
No one noticing, but because it's like, I guess it's like Fifth Element rules, like in like Bruce Willis' apartment where like all the shit like comes down from the ceiling, and it's like, wait, where is it? Like, it's supposed to be Space Saver, but like, where does that shit go when it goes up? Like, is it just going into the next apartment? Like,
Oh,
where is that giant tube being housed in the meantime when there's not the reveal of like, oh, you've got a tube of bats in the middle of this giant office lab with couch and lounge and big bookcase library with a chalkboard. Like, it's like two different sets merged together. Like, well, we can either have an apartment set or a lab set. Let's do both. We'll have both. And it's right down the hall from like his only sick patient that he's dealing with.
let's talk about that for a second. So he's helping this little girl out, and then that gets forgotten about.
He saves her. Like, she has like a medical thing, and then he's like, does his Morbin he morbs her and saves her
He
life.
did?
I thought he did something. I don't know. He's like, we need blood, or she was going into cardiac arrest. I don't know. Dude, I
I
rewatched
remember
this
she
before.
fell into a coma,
Yes.
and he was sitting next to her when the nurse was killed.
Yes. Which is
But we
very
never see her again after that.
no, and it's because
Did he save her? I legitimately don't remember now. I honestly
sure.
don't.
Sure. I don't, I think he did, Nick. I honestly have
Like
no idea.
she definitely like falls off the movie after that point.
Yeah.
It's like
I will say this, and that whole sequence where he's with the little girl and they're talking about his. Apparently, he pissed off the Nobel Peace Prize people. I'm gonna make a reference to a show which I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but I think it's very important to the conversation. Have you ever heard of a show called Garth Marenghi's Dark Place?
uh-uh.
Okay. It was, long story short, it was a British comedy show from like the early 2000s. It was basically the premise is like, what if a Stephen King who was somehow even more full of himself made like a cheesy serialized hospital drama where he also was a demon hunter. Uh, and like there's several scenes where again Stephen King basically playing this fictionalized version of himself is like this hero doctor who like goes to all these sick kids and they're like telling them you should be making a hero's wage. They don't pay you enough. And like and I was getting that kind of vibe of like, you turned down the Nobel Peace Prize? Yep, I pissed off the king of Scandinavia or something like that. Like as if Michael Morbius is the coolest fucking person on the face of the earth.
Would the king of Scandinavia even give a shit? It's held in their country, but I don't think he has a say in, or Sweden or wherever.
But what's weird is like, okay, so we have he's like so they go over like, okay, because between that it was like this it was sandwiched between like his hospital in like Greece, this very nice hospital, like not nice, but like it looks you're in this beautiful countryside hospital where they're treating rare blood diseases for some reason, and then you cut to him like getting the Nobel Peace Prize from Professor Father, and then he's like accepting it, and then
Why
the
would
next thing
he be giving him the prize? So many questions.
because we because this movie's only like an hour and 40 minutes, we don't have time to introduce new characters. Um, but then then we're just told that he pissed off the people by rejecting it. But at no point he didn't do anything like he took it and like smashed it or like did something disrespectful. We're just told I guess he didn't want the Nobel Peace Prize because like why? Like, huh?
I don't know why he. I mean, just one line being like, "I don't need to be honored for what I do," or "I need a lower profile." But then, if he was going to reject it, why'd he show up? That's like,
Yeah. Well,
this movie.
apparently he is some sort of celebrity because everybody knows who Michael Morbius is. Like even before
This
he
is
becomes
true.
Vampire Man, like the cops, the everyone knows who Michael Morbius is. It's very much just like he's not like a nobody who gets superpowers. He's like it's basically like Neil deGrasse Tyson if he got superpowers or something like that. Like people just seem to know who he is,
The
and
cop's like, "Yeah,
somehow
you saved my life, Michael Morbius."
yeah, you indirectly saved my life through your bags of goo. Which okay, so I was rewatching it, and I had to rewind back because I'm like there was like the stupidest set of sequence in this. So right after he goes over his powers, and he's like, okay, artificial blood won't sustain me forever. So we're already established that artificial blood is not a long term solution because the window keeps shrinking of like when he needs to feed next. But then the next dialogue is like, what if artificial blood stops working? I'm like, you already just said that it's probably going to stop working. And then he said something like, do I take the blue or red? I'm like, are you talking about like, is that supposed to be blue pill, red pill? Or was the serum supposed to be blue and not, human body fluid white? I'll let you insert whatever that. I mean, that's what it looks
Insert
like.
joke here.
Yeah, I mean that's what it looks like. It looks like that. It does not look like. And again, what other colors can you use that don't seem silly? Like any other color besides white, I guess. I mean, I don't know, but still, it's weird motion. Him going and sucking it down like a Capri Sun. Like it's not like
That's how I'm going to drink Capri Suns from now on.
just like your life depends on it. Like just squeeze it from the sides. Uh, I I will say this actually. Go back to things I like. I like Matt Smith's whole transition throughout the jail, where he goes out of the security bars like 3 times in each sequence. He's like, "Oh, I'm weak and crippled," and then the next shot, he's like starting to walk a little further. Then the third time, he's like pulling out a flask and just like throwing it back, be like, "When in Rome," like, "Oh my God, you had a turn," like,
Shit's not given.
yeah, like, but yeah, then he's like trapped himself in that glass cage of emotion. Then he writes out needs blood, need blood. Like, what did you think was going to happen in your glass case of emotion? Thank God your weird adoptive scumbag brother showed up to, and you
Yeah,
don't want this
how come they like let him in there with blood to begin with?
because he had a secret stash. Like that's literally what it looks like. He's got a secret stash in his apartment lab.
No. Let me phrase. Why did the cops let Matt Smith in um
You don't want to
the
know where that
j-
blood was hid. You don't want. I'm just like Christopher Walken said. I had this blood bag up my ass for 45 minutes. Like it's weird because he just like casually just throws it on the bed, like just like here in case you need this. Like what? And the mystery of like, oh, who's trying to frame Mr. Morbius? It's pretty revealed. It's like, oh yeah, it turns out Matt Smith's a vampire now, and he just loves killing. Oh boy, he can't stop killing.
Yeah, why did he want to kill people? Don't know. Doesn't matter.
Because hedonism, I guess. I don't know. Because sex. I couldn't tell you, Nick. I could
Except,
not tell you.
except.
Yeah, those dance moves, man, they are just like it truly is mesmerizing, and it really catch you off guard when the Snapchat filter's face comes back in. And then yeah, uh, so, oh god, I'm trying. Sorry, I'm focused on that part. How does the movie end again?
They the
Apparently, there's a
the
huge
girl
suit.
the girl maybe dies but doesn't, and they have a big fight, and Morbius stabs him to reverse
The effects.
the effects of it, and presumably he just dies right there
Yeah, and
because of
Morbius
course.
also has the power over bats, which I don't know how. Like your whole angle
How
is
did
like
he know he was going to be able to do that?
uh, I think maybe I thought there might have been something in the lab where he was like, I'm talking to the bats, even though it's like the weird thing is, so it's like the one interesting aspect of Morbius is like, especially when compared to like where it sits in the greater Marvel pantheon, is like real vampires do exist in Marvel comics, like actual mythological vampires.
Hmm.
Morbius thing is like, oh, I'm a vampire created via science, so I basically have all the vampires' powers, none of their, supernatural weaknesses. But that also means I don't have their supernatural abilities, like, telepathy um, or like, disappearing in a puff of smoke or a puff of bats. But then it's like he communicate with bats and cause bats to attack Milo, and he also can turn people into vampires via biting them, like a regular vampire. They also mentioned, okay, this is me getting really nitpicky on this.
Hmm.
So, third rate Daily Show correspondent shows Lady Doctor, like, look at these bite marks. Don't they look like fangs? But if you look at Michael Morbius's teeth, it's not like he's got like, two like long chompers. He's got like a mouthful of like shark teeth. Like,
Right.
those wouldn't be fang marks. They'd be like chunks ripped out of you. Like, again, me go nitpicky on there, but it's like, yeah, I don't think they'd be nice, clean, like, punctured. I think it would be like, a cougar ripping your throat out.
You ain't wrong on that.
I ain't wrong. I am a more I am a devoted son of the Church of Morb.
So if they ever make a Morbius 2 or any Morbius makes any future appearances, do you think they're going to slip in it's Morbin time?
Oh yes, yes, because
Too big of a thing?
Amy Amy Pascal and Avi Arad, who somehow are in charge of Spider-Man's future, for Spider-Man for the foreseeable future, don't understand what the kids like and think that all the memes are good, mean that the movie was great, and they will absolutely put that in there. If there's one thing that I've seen with the last couple Marvel movies, is like, well, what do Marvel fans like? Well, we'll stick all this stuff in there. It's like Marvel fans don't know anything. Don't just please us. Just make your thing, and we will come to it. But you don't need to like cover it in sprinkles. Just make your cake. We'll enjoy it. Just stop with the references. I'm sorry, you got to stop with them. It's too much. But now it's like Marvel movies in general feel like a freight train that's like trying to hit the brakes but can't. Like yeah, all the stuff. Like I mean, I've not watched. Again, I'm not an incel, but I don't have the time nor the patience to watch She-Hulk. I saw the I saw that Daredevil's going to pop up, and I will maybe catch it later on. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm like, just stop, like slow down a little bit. Like Morbius,
Supposedly,
I enjoyed because, again, it was wild, but at least it was entertainingly wild.
the MCU is looking at uh dialing back the amount of shows that Disney Plus shows that they do. Like because I think it's not giving the push they thought it was going to, or not push, the reaction that they thought it was going to. In fact, there's rumors that the Armor Wars TV show is
Yeah.
going to be turned into a movie.
No, that actually is. I think that actually was confirmed.
Oh, that was confirmed. Okay, I
Yep.
wasn't sure it was confirmed. I remember it was
Yep.
rumored, but I didn't know it was confirmed. Okay.
Yep,
Well,
it's
there you go.
Which is there was some good stuff, and honestly, it's like very much like some of those stories you like Moon Knight. I don't know how you would condense that whole thing into like a 2 hour like thing. I'm sure you probably could, but like I enjoyed that. I like that. That was a good solid 6-part adventure. Ugh, but yeah, no, but going back to your original question that started that rant, yes, they're absolutely going to say it's Morbin time, and they're going to double down on the memes. I think. Well, who? Okay, so I don't know. Again, this is where I kind of wish we had, because someone like Gorehound, who is a Morbius fan, to kind of say what does the future of Morbin look like? Because again, presumably we're not going to have Spider-Man show up and stop Morbius. Um, Again, it would be a real Chad move if they all of a sudden if they had instead of having the Vulture, if they're doing all these reshoots and you see how popular that again, yesterday's bullshit, today's nostalgia, how much people really liked Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man. You had Andrew Garfield Spider-Man show up and be like, Dr. Michael Morbius, we need to talk. Show up, people would go nuts.
Yeah, I mean, I know there was rumors back when Venom was coming out, thinking like, could this be set in the Amazing Spider-Man world? Because they wouldn't need they wouldn't do Spider-Man movies. They'd be able to get what's his name back for like bit roles. They wouldn't step on the toes of the MCU. They're establishing that Spider-Man exists in this world. We'll see what happens.
I guess.
I'm very intrigued by the Sony Spider-Man universe, the SSU as it's called.
That sounds. You're excited for the SS? You're excited for the SS, Nick?
Yep, that's exactly what I said.
I thought this was America. Is this not America? I thought this was America.
I thought this was America. I could be excited about what do I want to be excited about. Yeah. You trying to take away my rights?
I'm taking away the right for you to be excited about some of the other movies that they announced, such as El Diablo, a character that popped up once in a very recent Spider-Man run from like a couple years back.
One, it's El Murato, but that's weird. I don't know what the point of this. That's a weird movie because they were talking about doing a Black Cat movie. They were talking about doing a was it Silver Sable? Then they combined them. Then they took them apart, and then they're going, nope, we're doing this one.
Black Cat can kind of work because you're.
It's Catwoman.
Yeah, it's Catwoman. I mean, you're basically ripping off Catwoman. I mean, for God's sake, I'm assuming Nick, you're more the comic book expert than me. She came out after Catwoman, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. But Catwoman came out in the Golden Age.
Okay, There you go.
But but yeah, I know nothing about. Maybe that'll be to the film's benefit that they can market it just as an adventure movie and not worry about like, look, it's a comic book Spider-Man thing. Everyone, check it out. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see if it even get because it's they're just starting to write the movie now. And how many of these movies have fallen apart? Um, I
Not
am
enough.
I am really intrigued by the Madam Web movie.
Yeah, that seems it's either going to be nuts or it's going to be. I do like that they're using. Yeah, I will say this: if Sony had to pick one Marvel character to own the rights to, and all the characters surrounding it, I mean, Spider-Man's kind of the jackpot because there's a whole bunch of characters, including a lot of lady spiders.
Yeah, I think this is going to be less a Madam Web movie and more of a Spider-Verse movie featuring all the female characters.
That's not bad.
Um, you will be happy. The people who wrote Morbius are writing Madam Web.
Love it, love it. Just put it. If it's at the same level of quality, I'm in for it. Just
Like it sounds, yeah, it sounds like there's going to be time travel involved. And do you know anything what's going on? Do you want me to spoil anything for you or?
I've heard. Is Adam Scott supposed to be like some version of Uncle Ben?
Supposedly.
Yeah, which
And
I
supposedly, I think Emma Roberts is playing a version of Aunt May. I
yeah,
think.
like before we adopted Peter Parker or something like that. I know very little, but yeah, please spoil me because I
The little I know, the rumors that are coming out is that Madam Web is this supernatural character.
right.
Picks all these spider characters, and they're like, listen, we gotta go protect Adam Scott and Emma Roberts because they're going to give birth to Spider-Man, and we have to let that happen. So it becomes like a Terminator kind of thing as
Oh
well.
Jesus. Oh Jesus,
So
that
like
sounds
it sounds
terrible.
insane. Oh, are you kidding me? It sounds fantastic in a bad way, but I'm like, it's so crazy it could just work. Like I want to see this where this thing goes. I really, really do.
All these
Um,
spider people showed up. Like, what the fuck is going on?
like yeah, I don't know how they're going. If it's going to be more like an Ocean's 11 where they're like not in their spider costumes and just doing stuff.
God,
Like I don't know. I am super intrigued about where they're going to go with this. Um,
yeah.
so like I'm going to be there February 16th, 2024.
Oh God, 2020. I can't wait that long. Hell, American society may have collapsed by that point.
This is true,
Ugh,
but
but no, that
I know
sounds nuts.
The DC movies will have gone through like 5 more regime change by then.
Yeah, I guess. Well, The Rock is hoping to single-handedly, you know, save DC movies by, I don't know, being The Rock. That's a conversation for a different day.
So we'll see where this all goes. But uh yeah, I'm intrigued. I have a feeling that this is not going to be what people are thinking it's going to be.
They're not who we thought they were.
And
It's like,
I almost wouldn't be surprised if we get a surprise cameo by um what's her name? Oh, I can't think of what her name is. Uh uh she played Gwen Stacy.
uh,
Not
Emma
not
Stone.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we get a surprise cameo by Emma Stone as Spider-Gwen.
Oh, that'd be it. Yeah, yeah.
Not a
I
big
feel
role.
like
Maybe it'll be like a post-credits scene where she'll have the mask on, so we won't actually see what she says, and they'll
just
be like,
80 voiceover really fast. Like I got
"Yeah,
five.
I
Like,
think."
look, guys, Look, guys, my meter's up. I gotta go.
Be like, "I think I have spider powers now. It probably has something to do with Spider-Man. I think we should all get together." And then Jared Leto will be there like, I'm listening.
Why? Let's go back really fast. Why was it in the desert? At no point is the movie been like, I'm going to go hide out west or something like that. Like, you couldn't find an alley in New York City or an
Nope.
alley in like Cincinnati, wherever movies filmed that make it seem like we're in New York, but we're not. You couldn't find an alley and just have the vulture show up there.
Listen, they didn't have the time or effort to get permits to film in a city, so they found like a desert and were like, nah, this will work.
Sure, the Great Desert of New York City.
Well, you see on his GPS, it's going to take him a couple hours to drive there.
Oh,
There's so many things that make no sense.
He's going to run out of blood by that point. He's got to suck down another bag.
Maybe he had more in his trunk of his fancy car.
Oh God, I guess so. But I mean, I will say this: I think, in terms of the recent bad movies that I've watched or that I've recommended that we watch for this show,
Mm-hmm.
I still say *Malignant* is better. I was more entertained by it, but Morbius.
Oh, *Malignant* was great.
Close. Yeah. Oh wait, we just found the sequel for Morbin 2. Morbius versus Gabriel, the backwards man. Tell me you wouldn't want to watch that. Tell me you wouldn't want to watch that.
It could work. But
He's got
right.
He's got superpowers. But anyhow, that's a conversation for a different day when we save the SSU.
Yeah, right. Well, I think we tapped out on what we can talk about here with
we're almost as long as Morbius. You can watch this as a commentary for the.
I know, right? I know, right? Short ass movie, long ass podcast, but
5-star podcast.
I think that'll do it for our Morbin time. I love the meme, the videos where they edit that in on YouTube. I think that's hilarious. At first, before I saw Morbius, I thought, did he actually say that in the movie? And then I'm like, oh wait, no, did not. But yeah, so I don't know. I got nothing more. I'm done.
I'm morbed out for the evening. So I'm gonna go suck down a bag of goo and recharge.
That works for me. So, all right, cuz, thanks for joining me on this Morbius podcast, and we'll see you next time on the All New Culture Cast when we talk about Twilight. Talk to you later.
Good night.
You've been listening to the All New Culture Cast. Follow us on Twitter. Drop us an email at nick.culturecast@gmail.com. We can't promise we'll read it. Theme music by Dana Vodovaz. Check out his work on YouTube at Vodovaz Music Productions. This has been a Saltwater production. Original material copyright 2022. Thanks for listening.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you. Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay, yeah. No, I can't hear you.
You can't?
No, I can't. No, I'm screwing with you. Of course I can. I'm answering your questions.